Thank you, Professor Kuo. I'm honored to be here to make a report on IUFRO, the International Union of Forest Research Organizations. I'm sure many of you among us in the audience are members of the IUFRO, and I will sort of ask you to kindly identify yourself once I get to the correct slide in relation to the IWCS and the UFRO Wood Culture Group. Well, you can see we have the UFRO website. Do take note of the website if you are not familiar with the IUFRO. There's a lot of information in there that is rather self-explanatory, much of which I've extracted for your hopefully listening pleasure. And this is the format of my oral presentation. What I need to do now is to briefly to describe to you what UFRO is all about, what it does, its organizational structure, and particularly more relevant to the audience here is the links that UFRO has already forged between the IWCS and by creating a working group through the initiative of IWCS, of course. And for those of you who would consider joining UFRO and be more involved in its organizational structure as coordinators or UFRO officers, I will touch a little bit about how to become a member. And a little bit about the other activities of UFRO I will touch on, and its status until October 2014, this year, where we culminate our 4-year activity by hosting the flagship World Congress, the UFRO World Congress. So I will I hope it's clear you could see clearly. I will just read out. It is the world's network for forest science cooperation. It's the only worldwide web international organization devoted to forest research. And that also includes forest products research. Your wood and your non-wood research activities are all involved in these organizations. There's about more than 15,000 scientists and more than 600 member organizations which belongs to research institutes and universities that has forest-related research departments in more than 100 countries. So it is a big family of researchers from all over the world. So we have got a lot of voluntary work that is done among scientists who have been appointed to lead the UFRO organizations as coordinators or deputy coordinators in research units, and they all do it voluntarily. None of us are paid to do work on behalf of UFRO. We all do it. We do allocate a bit of our time in order to get the work done in satisfying the aims and the missions and the vision of the organization called IUFRO. For example, I'm glad and I'm fortunate to have been appointed a coordinator of IUFRO since 2010, and I've been involved in keeping the group together, keeping the forest products division together in making sure that different groups trying to make sure, of course, not essentially being highly successful at times, but trying to make sure that all the working groups within the forest products division are fairly active. And one of the most active groups I would like to say is the group on wood culture, in fact. With the collaboration of IWCS, the Wood Culture Research Group in the Forest Products Division has been very active since 2008, if I can remember. It's a very old organization. It started in 1892 in Eberswalde in Germany. That's where it started, and it has grown to such a big organization, and today it's still going. As a global network for forest-related research to serve the needs of all forest researchers and decision makers. So that's its main vision. So IUFRO promotes global cooperation through its networks, the forest-related research, and enhances understanding of ecological, economic, and social aspects, anything to do with forests and trees, the wood products and non-wood products, goods and services. You will see later that IUFRO has many divisions headed by division coordinators. I'm involved in looking after Division 5, for example. So in all the divisions, you notice that forest products is just one division. Nevertheless, forest products division is a big division that has many research groups underneath it. So through these divisions, IUFRO disseminates knowledge to all its stakeholders, usually scientists and forest policy makers, that would find information generated by IUFRO most useful. So how does it work? How does IUFRO operate? It has a global structure for science cooperation related to forests, trees, forest products. And within its structure, the IUFRO structure, that's where member scientists from all over the world would collaborate on a voluntary basis. The IUFRO division or working unit leaders brings together individual scientists who are members and get them to co-organize sessions or meetings, brings together lots of scientists in different disciplines in forest products research to discuss about their research work and to plan meetings to bring together people and to have networking, a sustained networking. So the structure of IUFRO is to address those research needs that the members feel are topical and needs to be addressed as it affects their region, it affects the global situation. So as I said earlier on, IUFRO comprises of 9 divisions, and within divisions there are about 60 research units or groups, and within the research units again there are working parties. So you could see how much of work there is, or interest there is within each division. So these are the 9 divisions of IUFRO. A lot of it is related to forestry, forest-related work, social aspects, economic aspects, excuse me, the environmental aspects, and the big red flash is the forest products division. So, excuse me. So these are the various wood science and technology topics that are addressed in IUFRO. So wood protection, the wooden artifacts working party is particularly relevant to IWCS and to the wood culture. And down here, forest products marketing, there is the IUFRO working group 5.10.01 that's representing the wood culture. This wood culture working group was established in collaboration with IWCS, for some of you who are not aware, and it has been a meaningful collaboration. And therefore, the wood culture working group has been rather active, among the most active within the IUFRO Division 5 structure. Just briefly introduce the team that we have. I'm the coordinator of the Division 5 of IUFRO. My fellow colleagues are represented from different parts of the world. As you can see, we have one from the US, and Dave Count from New Zealand, and we have a gentleman from the Finnish Forest Research Institute. And at the end of the IUFRO World Congress, Dr. Pekka Sarampa will take over from me as I step down after some years of service. As you know, we credit Mike Wen Pin Hao for forging links with UFRO, and within the UFRO unit, we have among our audience members that you know, if you could recognize them in the audience. And if you're interested in forging wood culture activities with IUFRO, being a member of UFRO, please talk to members. They are in the audience today, and they may be sitting next to you. So we do recognize, UFRO does recognize World Wood Day since since the inaugural World Wood Day that was held in Tanzania last year, and through the years we would continue to support World Wood Day, which has been nicely organized to coincide with the International Day of Forests that has been going on since last year too. A little bit more about the UFRO structure. So besides the divisions that you have seen, the 9 divisions, the UFRO structure extends into task forces. So we have task forces that are dealing with topical issues of the day. So over the next 5 years, we have task forces that tries and address those issues. And as you see here, there are 3 issues of interest that is of topical in a global scenario: international forest governance, forest and human health, and education. How to continue to make education in forest science and forest products education relevant in a changing world. We can't teach forestry the same way as we used to teach forestry. We got to keep evolving to make the subject interesting to the younger generation, so that the younger generation will be able to be an asset for future generation in managing forests and environment. And that's, the other aspect would be we have the UFRO strategy that also includes these aspects that are of interest from a global perspective. And you have task forces dealing with forests and its relationship with people, forests and climate change, bioenergy issues, biodiversity issues, and conservation, forests in relation to the water resources, and resources for the future. Resources meaning your raw materials, and also the types of forests that you're going to get, and more importantly, the types of products that you're going to get in the next many years to come. So these thoughts are being deliberated by different groups that are being created. So briefly, we have also other aspects that provides assistance in training and knowledge to developing countries, and these are special programs, and we have special project on World Forest Society and Environment, where UFRO cooperates with related groups in relation to disseminating high-quality research and participation in international discussions. So UFRO has also these aspects in which we could share. Provides a lot of data and information. It has a database made available to UFRO members in accessing this data, where members will find it useful in their part of their activities in their institutes or in their career. So in a nutshell, this is how the UFRO structure is. It has an international council that is represented by more than 115 members, country members, and they make the final decision on decisions taken by the UFRO board. The UFRO board basically comprises of leaders of the different divisions and task force. The UFRO headquarters is based in Europe, in Vienna, and the structure, as I've mentioned, we have got the divisions, the task force, and the special projects units. So you should become a member of UFRO. Or you're encouraged to become a member of UFRO. If you like, we can discuss with you after this presentation. So there's a lot of benefits being a member of UFRO. as some of the UFRO members here would be able to share with you. There's a lot of support for developing countries if you are a member of UFRO, and you get opportunities to be involved in its structure, in networking as a member. And we also encourage students to be part of UFRO structure. UFRO has a signed Memorandum of Understanding with the International Forestry Students Association. So UFRO takes particular interest in nurturing the younger generation, the forestry students who eventually will take over the role of leaders in the field of forest research and forest management. So these are the networking opportunities that UFRO has. Networking, assisting policymakers, being beneficial to scientists and institutes, and UFRO does participate in international science initiatives. FAO meetings, UFRO is there to enforce those meetings with FAO. And it's also a full member of the International Council of Science. So we have to keep in touch, to bring together all members and non-members who are interested about UFRO. Under one roof, we have our flagship World Congress that's held every 4 to 5 years. The next one will be held in October 2014, a few months from now, at Salt Lake City in the US. So as a member of UFRO, you're able to get access to all the information that's been placed on the website, the statistics of forests, and a lot of information, proceedings of meetings, and sometimes even papers that are presented. So these are the avenues where the information could be downloaded from the UFRO website that will benefit your work in some way. We have the UFRO strategy that we mentioned of. It's trying to tap into the pulse of what's happening within the next 5 years, within the current 5 years. UFRO will address those issues through its select group of experts and addresses this issue in conjunction with relevant international groups such as FAO. These are the goals of UFRO in trying to implement its strategy. These are the goals that are tied with it. It strengthens research and expand UFRO's capacity for interdisciplinary cooperation. Another goal is to strengthen coordination. That's important. Coordination is what keeps UFRO going. Coordinating and keeping a network of scientists interested in working together. That is the UFRO philosophy. And to strengthen UFRO's work, translate the research work into a science policy initiative. Excuse me. So, 3 institutional goals. These are high-quality science and interdisciplinary cooperation among UFRO members, making sure that the results gets widely disseminated in terms of visibility and increased ability of responding to the new and unexpected issues. So these are the goals that are embedded within the task forces that I've described earlier on, and further embedded within the divisional structures where the research groups within the divisions would have to focus on all of these aspects within the 5 years period and make their research results count. So these teams that I've mentioned, the 6 strategies, are meant as guidance for further interdisciplinary research, and with special attention given for all those research UFRO structures to inculcate the importance of these teams in ecological, social, and economic aspects. So IUFRO, institutional and research goals again, attains both research and institutional goals, should help IUFRO and its members to effectively respond to the changes in paradigms concerning forests and forest science, and to position itself as a truly global network for forest science cooperation. So take note, for those who are interested to know more about IUFRO, we have a flagship World Congress that's just around the corner from the 5th to the 18th to the 11th of October. It's thematic. The appropriate theme is sustaining forests, sustaining people, and the role of research. Okay. These are the thematic areas as I've described, and they will be addressed fully at the World Congress within different divisions and within task force. Thank you very much. That ends my presentation. Thank you.